Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to City Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast here on the Nerd Party Network. I'm your host, Daniel Prue, and joining me as always are my two good buddies, Darren and Philip. Have you guys been scooting around on any four-wheelers? Or what have you been up to this week?
You know, I was really surprised in, that Star Trek Picard trailer that he had that gold-plated Argo in his ready room. He must have really loved that ship. No, that is not. None of that is true. Yeah, I mean, it's like, look, coming from the Star Wars universe, I've seen many a stupid thing roll across the screen. And the Argo is really, literally like.
Well, we'll talk about the Argo later, Darren. What have you been doing this week?
No, the Argo's not that bad. Argo's a lot of fun, and
Darren's like, Argo's stupid. I've been pod racing all week.
I'm thinking of the hover bikes in Book of Boba Fett. That was pretty bad.
Oh wait, did they bring hover bikes? Because they were in Shadows of the Empire.
Well, I mean, when I say hover bike, I mean more like old person moped. Slowest chase ever.
Gotcha.
With a lot of rearview mirrors. It was not very well received.
And color coordinated.
All that to say, Argo was a lot of fun. I mean, I'm okay with single purpose shuttles that really is only there for deploying the Argo. I mean, maybe they could have thrown in a little something about, repulsor technology being affected by the planets, whatever, just a little something to justify, but why do that when you can just have fun?
So Darren's been thinking about the Argo all week.
It sounds like it. Yeah,
it's all about the Argo.
Yeah, I mean, real life stuff. I'm trying to think of what I've done other than that. You don't hear about boring academic research. No, I mean, that's really, well, I'm reading, I mean, this is not Star Trek related, but, I started reading, I don't know if y'all have ever read the Dresden Files. It's a fantasy book series. I say fantasy. It's a wizard detective series, basically. It's really good. I mean, I've always liked him. It was sort of like it was a series on Sci-Fi for a little bit, but this was books before, and there's a bunch of them. I think I'm on book 6 right now, 5. And I know, I mean, there's probably 10, 15 more, but the Dresden Files, which I really, they're fun. They're aren't going to crush your brain thinking, but, but that's fun sometimes. Just, wizard using powers, getting his butt kicked by demons and fairies and all that stuff. And so that's been my lighthearted thing.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
That's a good segue into my week, Philip, because last night I went to a Forbidden Forest experience, Harry Potter, real life walkthrough sort of thing. So they have this in a big, huge field, and you walk through, and there's all these lights and stuff. It was really cool. It's probably about a mile long, honestly. And you can go buy your butterbeer, and there's little, there's the flying car from the second movie, and then you'll see Aragog from the first movie, and they're all little animatronic puppets and stuff. But it's real cute and fun, and you get to grab a wand and see what your Patronus would be, and it was a really cool experience. It was a lot of fun, so we did that literally last night, in preparation for Hogwarts Legacy, the video game that comes out on Friday. So. Very exciting stuff going on right now.
Is that open world kind of setup?
It is.
Okay.
Yep. You're transferring into Hogwarts like as a 5th year, I think, and then you start the game, and then like right after that.
Oh, D&D rules start level 5 rather than level 1. That's smart.
So it's exciting. It's very exciting. It's going to be a Harry Potter week for me. So.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, I had started to replay because I don't know. There's some movies that like they're not bad, but you just like if you're like you go to sleep and you midway through and then the next night you're like, do I want to finish it? I don't know. It's the I'm using hand quotes, the new Tomb Raider movie. Okay. I'm sure it's a couple years old. But I mean, she's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But I mean, I did enjoy it. Hugh's pretty close to the new, again, hand quotes, Tomb Raider game, like that first game. You know what I'm talking about. 20 anyway. And so then I was like, oh, I want to play the game again. So I'd started to replay on hard level because I'm like, I played it several times. I mean, let's just go for it. So I was starting to play that again. I mean, I'm sure you know what year it was, Daniel, but the first in the new trilogy of Tomb Raider.
Yeah, I think it was 2013 it came out, if memory serves. The one that's just called Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do when they like to, reboot things, like Star Trek. That's all it counts.
We got to keep a name that they know what it is, but we don't want to put a number because we don't do that anymore. And Roman numerals are out.
Yeah, it's movie : whatever.
Yeah.
No, there's no next generation anymore. You got to go simpler. Got to be simple. So, I like Wednesday, right? There you go.
It did make me think, and this doesn't have to be discussed, but of Star Trek Next Generation movie names. I mean, which I know we'll get into, but I was like, Generations, that works. I mean, it's the Next Generation movie. Kirk and okay, that works. I mean,
besides the part of it being a handoff, and we've already had the handoff. But I mean, I get what you're saying.
But I'm just saying that as a title.
Yeah.
Star Trek Generations. Yeah, it's great. First Contact on the nose. I mean, you get what it says on the tin. Insurrection. It's not an insurrection. So I feel like that needs a retitling. And then
what would you retitle Insurrection?
Because the concept...
Boring.
Saddle up. Lock and load.
Because the concept, I'm not saying they did it well, but the concept is that Picard and crew are taking off the uniform, taking the pips in the combat.
Undressing.
And fighting Starfleet.
Right.
But I mean, and now I'm trying to think, in 2023, insurrection is not a good word. So they might not have known that in 90.
Star Trek
whatever.
Resignation.
Yeah,
for one scene.
So I don't know, I don't know. But it just needed a better word than insurrection because it's not.
Well, what about Nemesis? Does Nemesis fit? No.
I would say no. Yeah. I mean, but I'm open to idea. I'm just saying I'm not only talking about the movies. I'm just saying the titles not great.
I was thinking when you were talking that you were going to go more towards they should have kept the numbering scheme.
From the
original
throw
series.
up people who do that. Star Trek 8. I'm like, no, it's. Oh God.
But we are actually here to talk about a Star Trek movie. And I think I probably maybe have suggested this. We might have even done an episode very similar to this before Picard came out. But I wanted to see where we last left our characters together as a crew, as a group, before we head into season 3 of Picard, when we finally get to see them all, back into it together. So I made you guys watch it. Again, I think, and let's just start with sort of initial reactions. Like, was it any different than what your previous opinion was? Did you discover anything that you might have liked or something that you might have hated even more? Or is it, kind of consistent across the board? What do you think, Darren? What do you think about this viewing experience for yourself?
Yeah. It's interesting because this was the first time I watched Nemesis in a post Star Trek Picard world. So, and especially since the first season of Star Trek Picard is very data heavy in some regards, whereas this was the first ending of that character. And the ending still hits. Like I have nothing wrong with the ending. I have nothing wrong with the fight, with the space battle, data sacrifice. It all feels earned and balanced in my mind. It's the lead up to it and the pawns that are trying to be stacked in a way, like if you kind of ignore that and you're just like, oh, okay, I just beamed in. What's going on? Okay, well there's this perfect cloaked Romulan ship is attacking us. I'm like, okay, I'm on board. Here we go. But getting there and putting the reasoning, it is still not amazing. I love Tom Hardy. He's a good actor. I don't think he is a good Picard clone actor. Which is,
you're saying he's got a bright future. He maybe keep an eye out for him. He might stick around.
Yeah. I mean, considering I watched like Fury Road, a couple weeks back, and it's night and day. It really just comes down to actors can be good, but they need good material to like, they can't pull a rabbit out of a hat if there's nothing in the hat. So, I think, I don't know. There's just a lot of little choices that could have gone different. Like giving him hair. He can have hair. It's okay. I assume Picard had hair. You can, or maybe even make him more disfigured because the cloning process didn't work. Like he should be, not full on Khan bleeding, but I don't know. So there's just lots of little things where, I don't know, just opportunities lost or roads not taken, but at least they're not. Again, having just watched Star Trek 2, and we're also talking about aging and we've all talked about this before, that Star Trek goes through the cycle of like, and now our characters have to talk about their mortality and the age in which they live. And
do you think it'll come up in Picard? Well, I shouldn't ask you this question.
It already did. That was season 1.
Well, I understand.
All about that.
With them all in a group, but do you think they're going to be
Maybe.
giving each other reading glasses left and right?
And he will again. That's the beauty of it. So but all things considered, I agree with Philip. It wasn't as bad I was expecting. It's still not a movie I'm going to pop in every week, but it honestly, after Picard, it was kind of nice watching the actors young again. And it's like, it's only 2002. And
3, I think 2 or 3 again. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was just that part was nice watching them again. And the good old Enterprise E is a beautiful ship. I always love the E.
Yeah. Well, I'll talk a lot about Shinzon because that's what I want to spend a good chunk of time on. But Philip, what about you? Darren already kind of spoiled it, but you said that you kind of, you were okay with it this time. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing this in the theaters vaguely. I mean, I remember going to see it because I remember I was in college at the time. When did this come out?
2003 or 2, something like that.
Wasn't it earlier than that? Maybe I'm misremembering it. But anyway, I just remember going to see it with,
December 2002.
2002. Okay. It seems a little later because for some reason I was like in 2001. But yeah, I just remember
There's
seeing
other things going on in 2001. We were being rocked by terrorism.
Because I remember seeing it and just going, okay, well, that was a Star Trek movie. Like, not in a bad or good way. It was just like, okay, I guess that was it. Chapter closed. But watching it this time, yeah, it was, I think, the best reaction I've ever had, because usually I just roll my eyes the whole time, sort of like I'm watching Into Darkness. But this time I was like, okay. And I also detected more set pieces, and it's not a complaint, of like, okay, this is, Riker fights the bad guy, or, they have the dinner scene, or it's very like it's a very JJ way that I've heard, we're going to have the set pieces that are going to happen, and they seem very deliberate. The on the planet with the Argo, that's a set piece, and then we're gonna have, it's almost in a way not even connected per se. It is, because I said I'm not complaining, but they're almost like we're envision these different things, and then we'll mesh it together somehow. And I feel like on paper, there's nothing wrong with anything, because like you have this beautiful start with the wedding, and like, oh, we're all going to go our separate ways. Oh, but one last mission, and then Data discovers a new android. Oh, what does that mean? And then Picard discovers the Romulans. Oh, the Romulan. Oh, God, and then you sort of have the thing from there. And it's, if you take out all the action, it would make a great episode. Picard meets his clone in the Romulan, has to spend the whole episode trying to convince him, and then then things just blow up at the end. But and so the heart is there, and I just can't explain. It still doesn't work. And again, I'm not saying it's bad, but on paper, this should work. There's nothing bad about Nemesis. I mean, there's little things that are bad, but like on the whole, there's nothing bad. But like, it doesn't have heart. I don't know. If you can't articulate, it doesn't work very well, right? But I just feel like it doesn't.
Doesn't have faith of the heart.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
So that was my reaction. I was like, I mean, yeah, it's not bad, but is this how I wanted them to end? I don't know. And then last thing I'll say, watching it straight, because obviously I was watching it off of Paramount Plus. So no extra deleted scenes, no nothing. Like that leaves a lot on the table because there's no Beverly going to Starfleet Medical, never mentioned in the straight version. Like there's really not like, oh, we're all going our separate ways. It's more like Riker and Troi are leaving. Data's dead. Spoilers. The Enterprise E gets fixed really quick in the last few minutes. Then we have B-4 walking around, but everything else is pretty much the same. I mean, Picard, LaForge, Worf, Beverly, unless you watch the deleted scene, are all still there. So it's still like not an ending, you know?
Yeah. Well, we know the real world history of that, like because they weren't sure if they were going to do more or not. But I was more annoyed this time than I've ever watched it before, and I think most of it has.
You chose for us to watch it.
I know.
We all had to reverse. We needed to see how it ended up because I'm sure there will be a direct reference in Picard season 3 to Shinzon. So I'm sure of it. I know for a fact. But actually, Shinzon is my big. First of all, and this is just me. This is nitpicky, but I hate the word Shinzon. It sounds like B-schlock, like old 50s alien name. Like it just doesn't feel like it fits in Star Trek for some reason. You know what I mean? Like Star Wars.
Who are you? I am Shinzon. Master of.
Don't blame me.
Age.
I voted for Kang.
I can't take his name seriously. It just bothers me. So okay. And I want to talk through this because this was my biggest issue with the movie. So he's a failed clone of Picard. Well, he's not really failed.
Well, he did fail in his mission. He didn't go on his mission.
He didn't get to go on his mission. Okay. So then he becomes a Reman, essentially, right? At heart, by proxy, whatever. A Reman.
Thrown into the Reman mines.
Yes. And literally stages a political coup, takes over the government of Romulus, and is still obsessed with Picard for
just
some
like
reason.
Picard would have done if he was in his shoes. He would form that coup. We know it.
I get the themes of the movie. I don't know why he cares about Picard one lickety split. I don't understand why he cares.
It literally is his undoing because if he didn't care about Picard and wasn't on that vendetta at the end, he would win.
Well, I feel like it falls apart if you think about it. Like, I feel like if you're just enjoying if you're just a moviegoer, it's not going to bother you. But I think when you think about it, things fall apart because presumably the reason, like there's a literal reason he has to have the blood transfusion.
Right. Okay.
But like he forgets about it halfway through. Right. Is my problem because it's like, I mean, you see he kidnaps Picard and like for some reason, I feel like they say it without, but I feel like they could say it more like, why have you taken me? Oh, because I'm here because I need you. Just say it. Just say it. Because again, if this was an episode, you'd have a thing where Picard, gives him the blood transfusion and it all works out in the end, right? But then Picard escapes and then it's almost like Shinzon's trying to blow him up and then it's like, oh wait, boarding party. I try to take him alive, I guess, because I'm dying right now. I don't know if everyone saw my arm just fell off. But and it's such like a ticking clock that I feel like Shinzon's not treating seriously. He's going, thanks to the makeup people, but you can literally see him crumbling apart in the last 10 minutes. He doesn't seem that concerned about it. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to die in like the next 30 minutes, but whatever. Let me just play around with the Enterprise, like.
And then he's also going to destroy Earth because why?
Yeah,
again, why does he care? What does this do? You're right that his singular purpose should be just to get Picard. And then you would think like, oh, we could come up with a peaceful way. Like Picard would, I'm sure, gladly give his blood or whatever so that Shinzon could live. And then look, happy-go-lucky, everybody.
Didn't they make it sound like he needed to give all his blood? Like Picard would die from the procedure? I think they mentioned that, but
I don't know.
But I feel like given 24th century technology, there has to be a way. Like, I mean, I can feel like, yes, it's extreme, but like
we replicate blood at this time. I feel like we should be able to do that.
Yeah, because I feel like even like in a world where Shinzon needs the real stuff, Picard doesn't. I mean, you can give him the replicated blood, right? I'm sure he doesn't care.
Yeah. I mean, that's obviously a dumb MacGuffin, but it's just like everything seems to fall apart. So, okay, I was also thinking about the plan because I'm like, at first it wasn't clear to me and I couldn't remember. Did Shinzon create B4? Because B4 doesn't have any idea of who Asung is. But then he's like,
I believe Shinzon found B4.
He says he found him.
Planted it because he knew that Picard would go after that mystery.
Right.
It's a very convoluted way to get the blood. It all is very convoluted.
But it's not connected because they go to that planet and they're near the Romulan zone. But then Janeway has to, he invites them over anyways. And Janeway's like, you need to go to the Romulans and talk to the new dude. And so it's like, so what was the whole point of doing this?
Well, because B4 is the spy.
I know, I understand that. But,
I mean, it's not a great plan. But
also, Shinzon knows Starfleet policy. You know, he's read intelligence files. They will only ever assign the closest ship. So he needed to get the Enterprise as close to Romulus as possible. So he's like, if I put B4 literally right next to the neutral zone.
I thought the Enterprise was the flagship. So it's like, even if they're halfway across the quadrant, they're going to be the one they say.
Janeway says, you're the closest ship. She literally says that. She does not say, she's like, you're the closest ship, Jean-Luc.
I just, the whole Shinzon thing starts to fall apart. I'm like, what a rags to riches story, man. This clone was created and then he's kicked into the mines and then he takes over the whole planet. Wow. You'd think he'd be pretty pleased with his life and what he's done. He could probably just stop there. But nope, that's not how it works. So,
I mean, that would have been, I was going to say, that would have just been more interesting, though, if, I mean, they were going for the whole "I'm a mirror for you too," blah blah blah. Like, but actually do that. Actually be like, he's proud of his accomplishments, but they're not, benevolent, and it's literally him implying that if you lived my life, you would insurrect against your government. You would kill and do all these terrible things because I am you. And, it's kind of that nature versus nurture kind of debate. But I think that would have been more.
It's kind of that debate. Okay. They had it like four times in the movie.
Exactly that debate. But I think that would have been more interesting to. And I mean, if this was made nowadays, they would probably use like deep fake de-aging and make him literally look like season 1 Picard or something like that for every shot. I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Well, I think the problem watching this post Picard is it does make me wonder whether, because I would have told them not to, but now watching it, whether the Picard people watched Nemesis before they started, because I'm stuck in season 2 with lots of flashbacks of young Picard. You know what I have, and maybe I've missed it. I'm not, maybe I missed it. I have yet to see him having a problem with the hearing. Oh, Jean-Luc, Be careful. You have that syndrome. Let's take you to the, it's, you don't have to make a meal out of it, but it's been established in a movie. You have young Picard, at least make a call to it. And then, if we have Picard now saying, the series, saying that, Jean-Luc was this way because of his mom, that's how he looked to the star. Look up, Jean-Luc. But in Nemesis, it's like, as a boy, by myself, I looked up at the stars, and you did the same thing. I'm like, well, did he have your mom too?
Yeah, another thing that bothered me too is that Shinzon is able to, and this is before he even takes over the Romulan government, because he just says it was from a secret base. But he was able to not only create a super amazing ultimate ship that's more powerful than anything.
Who is bankrolling Shinzon? Who is the puppeteer? There's got to be someone behind him.
He also creates a type of radiation that doesn't even exist at that point. So, what? He's doing this with a bunch of miners? And Starfleet has hundreds
really
of
young.
worlds.
I know.
Yeah. So, anyways,
not miners, you idiot.
No, I also like the fact that, wait, you're telling me a Star Trek movie had a super-powered starship on a secret base? Well, we could do this once, boys, but we can't do it twice. They'll never go for it.
The one thing I did like this time through, which I kind of forgot a little bit about, was the sort of we didn't expect to see Data being on the scimitar when he went disguised as B4. And also, I realized that the outfit he was wearing, I think, was like kind of what Data wore on, like when he was a colonist Data or whatever. It was like that unitard of back on Omicron Theta or whatever. But
I know.
Yeah. It's like it's not a uniform, but it's like a crewman uniform or something like that. You know, no pips.
Oh, like what Lore was wearing when we first met him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what it was. So.
Yeah, that's what they missed, guys. They should have just thrown Lore in the mix. It wasn't convoluted enough. And they just call it the Sons of Soon.
Yeah, I mean, with Shinzon, and I agree with you. And again, look, you don't want to, if this isn't the part of the story, then it's only distracting. But it is sort of a little like, failed clone, go in Riemann mines, ? Overthrow Romulan government, become Praetor. I think there's a lot of middle stuff we're missing there. Now, I think there's probably a great story because there's the reference, passing reference in the beginning is sort of like, oh, I'm paraphrasing, he was a great warrior. He was a military leader of some. So like, is he like Alexander the Great, where, he rose from the mines and worked with the Remans, and the Dominion War gave him the opportunity. I mean, again, this doesn't need to be part of the movie per se, unless it's like it reflected in his character, because presumably this all happened in the past 5 years. So Shinzon can, have those, during the war, throw that out. Maybe he has some Jem'Hadar war trophies behind him, like you can kind of, where is he coming from other than like pretty young guy? I mean, it's Shinzon.
Otherwise, he just appears here out of nowhere, fully formed, and we're like, but how?
Listen,
and why
somehow Shinzon returned. Okay, sure.
They said the word Dominion War. You should be grateful, Philip. That is as much as you were going to get out of that. So.
Because like, why do the Remans follow him? Like, I mean, what does he? Promise?
The Remans following him like the hyenas following Scar in Lion King, and eventually they turn on. Like, I'm getting similar vibes, but
yeah. And why? Like, okay, so the what is his name? What's his second in command's name?
The Viceroy.
Viceroy. They don't even give him a name. Which is
Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman takes pity on him as a child, which is nice. Okay, fine. But again, that relationship is never. There's nothing there other than that. And he's just loyal to him to the end for what?
Oh, that means that the Viceroy might be the puppet master who built the super advanced secret starship. No, that doesn't even make any sense either, because he's just a Riemann. How does he do that?
Also, and again, I mean, this is a weird nitpick, but like when you start thinking about it, this is probably true with any movie. But like, I can buy everything they're selling so far. And it's like, also, I don't know if we told you
no
about
money in the 24th century.
We've just introduced Remans, which were there the whole time, by the way. But
yeah, we only went to one of the two planets, so this is this whole separate planet.
Not only are they warriors, whatever, I'll buy it. They're also telepaths. Did we mention the telepath thing?
Nope, that came out of nowhere.
Because it's also like, and again, I don't want to go down this path, but I'll just put 2 foot in it. The Viceroy obviously has a close relationship with Shinzon. I don't know what part is, hey, can you help me sexually violate people? Like, don't know what part of relationship that covers.
Yeah, you just be the conduit, I guess. Yeah, that's really
weird. I mean, it's weird on many, many, many levels, but that just like, how does that conversation start? Hey, I saw a human woman. Can you hook me up with your? No, I don't want to go.
But she's not human. She's half Beta Z. Like, yeah.
I mean, that obviously the whole plot
disgusting. Yeah, inappropriate.
And it's not necessary. It doesn't even add.
Well,
anything.
Isn't it only there so that we give Riker a reason to kill him? Like, that's kind of feels like the only reason.
Troi to find the ship when she's like guiding Worf's hand on the console, and I'm like, this doesn't feel like how this would work at all, but okay. I mean, whatever. I guess we're doing it. So
it did make, and again, it's stupid, but it did make me laugh when I'm watching that scene where she's finding him, which I know is supposed to be emotional, I'm not making fun of that. But from the Romulan perspective, because just think you're Shinzon, you're just sitting there, and your voice was like, whoa, and he's like, what the F are you doing? He's just sit, because that's a scene, if you do it in real time, last probably several minutes. So just imagine you're sitting there, you're Shinzon. Roger's going, no. And you're like, what are you doing? Like, just say, he's not saying like, oh, she found me.
Dude, what are you
Explain
on?
it.
What is going on?
I'm in the middle of something here.
Yeah.
Can you?
He turns around like, do you need a minute? Are you okay? Do I need to get the Riemann doctors down here?
I mean, I'm sorry I'm dying here, but let's concentrate on you. What's
I do like the scene where they ram the Enterprise into the scimitar. That's cool, right?
Yeah, all space scenes are good in this movie. Every single one of them.
I will say,
I mean, pulling apart doesn't work, but that's,
yeah, there's a lot of physics issues in this movie, but I was like, whatever, I'm not going to go into it. But it was one of those things, and maybe it's because I've obviously seen the movie. Maybe it only works on the first time. But like Picard and Patrick Stewart really makes a meal out of the like, I just had the idea to ram them. Because it's like, he's sitting there like, and you can see he does the acting choice of like, without saying it, I got an idea. This will be the one. And I'm like, it's just ramming him. Like, I feel like there needs to be a bigger idea for like the choice he makes to be like, because he does it like twice. He's like, and then he stands up and he's like, no, I got this one. Don't worry. Let me send this text to Troi that just says full impulse. Like, it should have said, in my head, I thought I remembered it saying like ramming speed, or it just says full impulse when I tell you to. Like, okay. Like, I feel like,
what if she misunderstands and they go full impulse reverse and start backing away? It's like, no, that's not what I meant. Well, you were very unclear with your cryptic text.
Because I didn't know why. It wasn't even a big secret, because like you're thinking like, not having seen the movie recently, he texts her and she sees it, and I thought he's going to then like talk to Shinzon and be like, now, but like instead he talks to Shinzon, cuts Shinzon off, and then says to Troi, do it. Like, you could have just told her. It wasn't even a dramatic like.
Again, having just watched Star Trek II, which is very much that scene as well, because you have Khan on the line, and Picard and Kirk is trying to basically instruct his plan of using the prefix code and then firing, and he has to do all of that while Khan is listening in, and it works. I guess if you turn away, he's got directional microphones on that view screen. If you turn away, they can't hear you, I guess.
Well, here's the difference, Darren. Star Trek II was written very well, and then there's Nemesis. So
because I mean, it does beg the question, what happens next? In other words, I'm going to ram him. Now, there doesn't have to be another plan. In other words, maybe Picard's goal is only just like, we're getting our butt kicked. We need to equalize the fight, and then we'll go from there. And that's fine if that's all you got.
Or maybe it's ram him and then self-destruct. Like, that's a viable plan if your balance is saving Earth. Like, that's not a terrible plan. It's a sacrifice play, but it could work.
Just like, but the way he sold it, I'm like, Picard has an ace up his sleeve. Oh, just ram. Okay, I thought there was a part two, after we ram him, then that'll mean X. But it was just
profit ? Question mark.
I know there is a lot of like ...
So the movie posits the nature versus nurture debate, but clearly is written from a perspective of these two people are the same person. And that's why when Picard has this amazing random idea that's just random and just not something somebody else would think to do at that moment, it's like this big revelation. I love the part when they're in stellar cartography and Data's like not having any of it. He's like, even if this guy had all my memories, he's still not me. We're still separate people. I have this ambition or whatever. And so it's like, yeah, the way the actual structure of it, the movie is written, it's like, oh no, these two people are so similar in so many ways. And how can they outsmart yourself? That doesn't make any sense. And then Picard just like, well, let's just ram the ship into him, I guess.
I mean, we've had this discussion before with like Thomas Riker. Like, yeah. Like Riker went through this whole thing. Like, you could put Thomas Riker on the other ship and he's like, I am you. And it's like, no, you lived a completely different, like, formative years of your career. And of course they're different. And of course the lessons that he's learned that Thomas hasn't learned, like, we already covered all of this.
Yeah.
And maybe that discussion with Data and Picard proves my thought that it's very formula, again, not in a bad way, to formulate this movie. It's like X, Y, Z, but they never thread together X, Y, Z, because the X, A, if you're going ABC, is that Geordi and Data are having that conversation where it's flipped. Data's like, Geordi's like, are you giving you memories? That's weird. And he's like, oh, but then he'll be like me. And Geordi's like, but he's not like you. He's someone different. And then theoretically, Data would have learned a lesson in the middle part so that when he talks to Picard in Z, he's like, as I learned with B4, he's not. But like, I never got in the middle.
Yeah, there was no in between.
Yeah, giving B4 Data's memories in that beginning part felt really weird. Like a decision Data would not have made. Like especially so quickly. Like, why are we doing this? So, I mean, of course you understand why by the end of the movie. It's so that Data can somehow live on, which, spoilers, this is not how it works out for him. But it's just so weird. Yeah.
And one other about Shinzon. I mean, I get why, because you got to raise the stakes where it's Earth at stake and but like, it almost is because like we don't want to be complicated about the Romulan Empire, because I think Shinzon sounds like he wants to, in a way, reconquer the Romulan Empire, because now, okay, we've taken over the Senate, we're going to coup. I mean, the Romulan Empire is probably enough. I mean, I know it's never enough, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's big, presumably.
Yeah, but you have to start somewhere.
To go straight against the Federation, like, you're skipping your kind of home country there, where you might want to just consolidate power first, before
that's
punching the biggest guy in the block.
That's where like that other Romulan commander's like, I know this guy is nuts. Like, I don't want to be on his. So you're losing support, in his own government. And now, granted, it is not a terrible plan when you have this ship with a perfect cloak, and go and decimate Earth. Like, it is a first strike vehicle. You could do some major damage, but would he win with just this one ship? I don't know.
But and I also think that there's another ... problem, because I mean, look, not that wiping out billions of people is fine, but like, okay, you destroy Earth. Does that kill the Federation? I mean, I'm going to argue, and maybe I'm wrong, that the Federation is stronger than that. I mean, there's
I think it would galvanize the Federation. And honestly, I think how it would play out is, the Federation is now like, we are declaring active war on the Romulan Empire. And the Romulans would kind of have to side behind Shinzon, because they're going to get obliterated. Like, they don't want to, but what is their other option? To form a third government within? Like, maybe, or maybe that's the splinter that the Federation exploits, because there's two factions now, and what was once a unified Romulus is now split. But I think he would do temporary massive damage, and then the weight of the Federation, having just survived the Dominion War, would be like, like you're done.
Yeah, I don't even think it was his plan anyways. It was just that he got mad at Picard, and then he's like, now I'm going to go do this, I think. I don't think that was part of a massive plan. I don't think he had like this big scope.
We talk about the writing. It's no motivation. You need motivation of your characters to believe what they're doing. And without that motivation, you don't believe what they're doing.
And again, I get the motivation if he was like a Riemann slave, essentially, to overthrow the government. That's huge. And he accomplished that goal. And like, that's amazing. Like, take a break, man. Take a vacation. That probably was 10 years worth of
take the W. Go chill.
Don't immediately go, but of course,
change all the logos that are holding Romulus and Remus in the claws and switch them so that Romulus is in the left weaker claw, and Remus is in the grand stronger claw.
Big rebrander. That's what
it's going to take cycles and cycles to remake all of those signs and stickers everywhere.
Maybe enact casual Fridays, have an ice cream social. Like, let's do.
And you're going to take all the remaining political party and put them in the mines, put them in the dilithium.
So like, and that was my question too. Was like, he has Romulan co-conspirators. Now, I assume those people are just enemies of the former current government.
Communicate all the timetables. It was all a front.
But you would think none of them would want to put a Riemann in power above themselves. Like,
Right.
that's wild.
Or a clone of Picard. Like, that's their two choices?
Yeah, I mean, because I'm trying to balance what would have been good versus does that break up the story and who cares? But I feel like it would have been good if you dug a little bit deeper. It doesn't have to be deep, the whole, another 30 minutes of the movie. But like the whole, I even forget the guy's name, the other the male Romulan commander, who's not the woman, who was given Shinzon guff about a lot of stuff. But yeah, why is he following this guy? And what's the promise? Like, he kind of mentions it, but not really. Like, what is the promise? Oh, I'm going to destroy the Federation, which, I mean, that's a big promise, but my friend. I don't.
I mean, the scimitar is powerful, but like, you throw a fleet at it, I'm sorry, you're not winning. Like, you're good. They're going to take you down. So,
and why do they want again? Why do they want that? Why do they want the Federation so the Romulan Empire can grow? Do they want to take over? I mean,
no goal.
Because I almost feel like, especially when they introduced the Viceroy, took care of the human kid. I mean, that's a terrible word to use. Humanizing him. I mean, so the Viceroy's a nice guy. Oh, no, wait, he does mental sexual assault. Never mind. But, like, in other words, if they had tried to make the villain of Shinzon and his gang more someone you would root for, I mean, that might have made a stronger movie. It's like maybe you think he's telling the truth 3/4 the way of the movie, and then something makes him turn. But like he's the bad guy from like the first. I mean, if you didn't know who Tom Hardy is, he usually is. But anyway, like if you didn't know, pretty soon, like maybe he killed the Romulan Senate and for good reasons, good reasons, as any revolution might. But
yeah, it's just poorly thought out. And listen, they could have skipped the Argo scene, and we would have been fine. You could have put something in there instead. So there are a couple of things that the movie buttons up pretty nicely, I think, with the marriage of the Troys. We get and the Titan. So we officially get Riker and Deanna going off. So that I think the scene between with Picard and Riker at the end is nice. It's a very short scene, but it's nice. And Data dies. And that's about it. So as a sort of wrap-up, sort of celebration, sort of a thing, send-off, right? I don't think it works that great, honestly. There are a couple of moments, but not a lot.
Well, I guess because this is my thought. I mean, I was old enough. I should have been paying attention, but I just don't remember a lot of like the pre-stuff before the movie came out. And maybe because they did it less in those days. That's how old we are. But anyway, obviously all the marketing was a generation's final journey. Like it was all like, this is it. And so like when I hear like, oh, we thought we might do another one, I'm like, what script did you read? Like, I mean, and maybe let me, and I say that in a very insulting way, but let's just take it for seriously. We thought, we did this story. We thought we'd do like, how does that work? Like, you recast a new first officer, and like, who's still in the movie, the next movie? You know what I'm asking? If you're saying, oh, we could have done another with who? Who's, because I feel like,
obviously.
And maybe that's the answer. Of course, I thought Brent's whole thing was, he wanted to not do it anymore.
And yet here we are.
That's true. I have to look at more behind the scenes to find out, like, who was the impetus behind the B-4 continuation? Because there's got to be someone's idea, and it probably wasn't Brent because he didn't want to play Data anymore.
Yeah. And it completely cuts the legs out from under Data's death scene. I mean, like, to me, it's less impactful because that whole subplot is dopey and silly, and it's just there to have an out, basically. To be like, he's Data still.
To kill off a major Star Trek character in a movie, and then, like, at the end, have this scene where it's obvious they could come back. Like,
I know.
You can't. Who would do that?
I know you're talking about Star Trek 3. I know you're talking about Star Trek 2. Sorry, but led into 3. But it's.
I would say
that was way more earned. I
would say adding one line to a movie is a little more subtle than having a dopey, stupid version of your character around the other characters for the entire movie. Like a cheaper, lesser version of your character. Kmart Data walking around and being silly and dopey. So it does feel a little bit better in Star Trek 2 than it does here. So
yeah, but I mean, and also, I mean, how do you literally feel? And I don't know, I'm not trying to take over, Daniel. But how do the people feel about the endings of all the characters? Because it's like the only people who have a ending is Riker, Troi. I mean, Troi's sort of like a +1, but I mean, she's going to be a counselor on the Titan. I guess that explains it. But then you have Captain Riker, so that's 2 gone. Data's dead, but like nobody else. Like, what's Geordi doing?
And Worf is a person.
Yes, Worf. No, yeah, it's
and also Picard has there's no closure for Picard even.
I mean, we had more closure in the end of DS9 really than any of these characters. Yeah. Not in general, just
everyone.
In general. That's true. Is Worf going back to DS9?
Well, no, he's going to be. You mean in DS9 or
no? In the end of Nemesis. No, you're right. He's the.
Yeah, I mean,
they're always trying to make him an ambassador.
Yeah. Well, because like it.
Well, I think another thing they could have done in general in Nemesis is leaned more into what's happened with a lot of these characters since Next Gen. So, I mean, I want Martok to show up. I want like Martok's a big part of Worf's family and Worf's story. Like, so the problem is they're kind of trying to treat all these Next Gen characters like they're in this bubble that hasn't changed since the last time we saw them. It's like there's many things that have happened since then. But it's, I mean, we're poking easy holes in this story. Like, it's not hard to. And again, you're at its core, you're trying to wrap up this story, and it's kind of hard to top how they ended it in the end of the show. Like which was very much a Star Trek 6, and then the Enterprise continues on its way for more adventures. Like, obviously this is not that type of an ending, but it was not as good as it really.
It's not much of an ending at all, really.
It's really not.
It's just not.
Because I mean, I would have loved, again, it could be like a few more minutes. Like I'm putting like 5. You see Picard, and maybe it's implied Picard has made Worf first officer because you just maybe see him sitting in the chair or something.
Well, he's in command now, like in the command red. He should be.
Yeah, but you sort of see, but it's just sort of like. Because then when you see that there's a deleted scene of Beverly calling at the end from Starfleet Medical, "Oh, I'm here now. These are a bunch of kids are running around." Okay, that's the Beverly thing, and then
yeah, it's
or that could have been a cool beginning where Riker's, he gets married. He's officially not the first officer of the Enterprise anymore. That baton has been handed to Worf, and I'd be fine with that. Like, imagine Worf sitting next to him, like issuing orders and like being a badass, like through the whole movie. That would be awesome.
See, the problem with Worf, though, is talking about bubbles, is that they are disregarding his decisions and ending in Deep Space Nine.
Oh yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like that, in this case, you wouldn't be doing that. You would, You would be referencing the Worf who changed back to command, the Worf who led the Defiant through battle and like is competent.
Because at the end of Deep Space Nine, Worf leaves. He goes back to Kronos. He becomes the ambassador or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like to put him right back into his security role here. Also disregards all of the stuff that happens.
It's like every time they bring him back and they're like, "You remember how to fire phasers?" It's like, no, that's dumb. I mean, I know that was a different movie, but yeah.
But so okay, real quick then, because you talked about all good things. And we had our riding the starship off into the night moment. We're not going to get that again. In Picard season 3, presumably the Star Trek is getting a new chance, a second chance, at giving a good send off to these characters. My concern is with everything we've seen with modern Trek is they're just going to murderize everybody, which I do not want. I mean, if you need to kill someone for whatever reason, do it in an interesting way, I guess. But not everybody has to. Not everybody has to be traumatic. Let's let some of these people just retire, be happy, read a book. I don't know. But what do we want to see at the end of Picard season 3 with all these characters that we have coming back?
I mean, I agree. Like, don't kill people. You don't need like that is not. But I'm saying like that's
An
not
ending.
the answer. That's
Yeah.
not the like. You think of many other stories. What person actually wants a main character to die? Nobody ever wants that, really, at their core. So I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna get like some other type of send again for All Good Things was so good because of how it referenced the beginning of the show and also this kind of semi-future, and it was like referencing, and you had Tasha back and you had all these other cool, and it was just it was so good.
Well, because I think the challenge, and I mean, I'm obviously hearing great things about season 3, so they may meet it. But I think the challenge, like, in other words, the TNG ending, and I think it may be true with DS9, it's just different. The ending encapsulated the spirit of the show. 2 different shows. DS9, that's a very character story, and so their ending was all about the characters having endings. TNG is very episodic. This is what we do every single day or every week. So the ending was like, we keep on going. We keep on doing all the great stuff we're doing, and we keep on doing it. The story never ends, basically. And so I think with Nemesis, it's just sort of like, and the plot tells us this is what happens. And so with season 3, because there is no spirit in Star Trek Picard, those smart words, season 1 is one thing, season 2 is one thing, season 3 is another thing. There's no spirit of the series. So, I mean, there's nothing that they can do other than plot, which, I mean, we all want a happy ending. So, but yeah, I don't want to, I mean, I've always said, I've always said this, Picard ends with Picard dying. I mean, that's how it's going to end. So I hope, there's a way to do it where that last episode, and they're not going to do this. The last episode is like after the big adventure that Darren's already seen and not telling us. That in the last episode, it's like, 5 years later, and they're all at Picard's funeral, and he's just died a natural death, and it's just them at the funeral, and you kind of see where everyone's ended up, and it's just a nice coda. Because he's,
and there's a statue, and he's reaching out to the stars.
He dies naturally.
You're forgetting one thing, Philip.
In the background is Zephyr Cochrane's statue, like he just put it right next to it.
Yeah, they put it down, rolled it down.
You're forgetting that we already saw Picard die at the end of season 1.
Yeah,
and he got reborn into a super robot body of an old man.
But they said they did like, yes, you're an android now, and you have no abilities and will die like a natural death. Okay, well, so there was no point to this.
Yes.
What you're saying.
We just needed to find a way to make you live a little longer.
Well, we needed to find a way around the aromatic syndrome. They're like, we got canon
which
locked.
They wrote themselves into.
I was going to say,
Anyways, okay, well, we will see what happens in season 3. I'm
in
not
all
convinced.
Good time.
Yeah, who knows what it's called? I'm not convinced that it will be any better, or maybe it won't be any worse than Nemesis. But at least it will be an ending. Any final thoughts you guys want to touch on before we get out of here?
and obviously I know Darren knows, but like, I think the struggle, and it's with every Star Trek, but especially TNG, is the weight of everyone's endings. Because it's like, we know what Picard and Data do, and gang. And look, I mean, the TV series did it. We're not going to say it didn't. But, obviously I hope with season 3, we all kind of get some more quality. And so we care about where Beverly ends up at the end of the series. We care about where Geordi ends up. They all have equally important endings.
I agree.
Yeah,
All
I think I'm good having another long spell until I watch Nemesis again.
Yeah, that's probably true. I probably won't watch it probably for a very long time. Maybe
the next week's Insurrection, guys. All right.
Oh boy, go backwards. All right, guys. If anybody wanted to find you, Darren, if they said your cloak is working too well, can you turn it down? How would they get a hold of you?
Your ship is too perfect. Come on down to Shinzon's RV Dealer Emporium. We have the best ships ever if you want to conquer the galaxy. They can find me at drsci-fi.com, DRSCIFI.
And Philip, if they needed someone to follow to get out of the Riemann mines, how would they get a hold of you?
They can find me at NC Public Servant. I will be the bald one.
Why does that one have a shiny head? Okay, and if they want to get hold of me, they can find me at 1 of 10. That is the number 1, not the word. All right, that's it for this week. We will catch you guys next time. I'm Daniel Prout.
I'm Philip Gelfus.
And I'm Darren Moser.
Stranded here on SETI Alpha 3.
Charge!